time. I've been tremendously blessed to get introduced some time ago to a young man that a friend of mine named Jeff told and said, you got to meet this young man. You need to connect with him. And I began to go online and peek at some of his stuff on YouTube and checked him out. And I said, man, God, your hand is upon this young man's life. And it was just a joy. And I ran into one of his songs that his renditions of rap song. I'm not sure which one he would call it, but on Forgive Me. And he didn't know what our first session was going to be about, but it just so touched my heart as I listened to him just share that from his heart. And so this time we're going to hear from KyleRinger.
Yo, what's up, family? Just like Miss Gill said, my name is KyleRinger. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, all of those things. But greater than all, I am a servant of Jesus Christ. And so I as we were just talking about, forgiveness is a really difficult thing to talk about. It's not a popular subject. It's not something that everybody's just throwing out there. But the reality is that we sometimes run into this block, right? So a little bit about my story, a little bit about my testimony is my parents are pastors and they're like, super for it, super on it. I grew up that way. My entire life, my father was a bishop. Now, I don't know if y'all know, about the whole bishop thing. That's nothing to play with. And my parents, that was who they were. They were, the long robes, they go all the way down to your ankles. They had the chains, the watches, the cars, all of that stuff. That was my life. And to be honest, it became unattractive. I wanted nothing to do with church. I was like, God, listen, me and you can be cool, but I don't want nothing to do with none of your service, none of your people, none of that. I had seen too much. And the reality was that I left, I went and I did my own thing all throughout high school. And I exposed myself to some things that, aren't necessarily ideal for a teenager to go through. I got involved with girls, and I know some of y'all know that struggle of, temptation. I got involved with drugs and alcohol and trying to people please and all of these different things, feeling as if, this is what's necessary in order for me to be who I think I'm supposed to be. There are so many, options out there. I just want to explore. I just want to find myself. And if I do this and I do that, then my void will be fulfilled. And I got into a situation, and the Lord was the only person that I could go to. And I said, Jesus, if you are for real, if you're really out there, if you really love like they say you love, if you really care like they say you care, prove it. Show me that this is what you're really about. And he did. So I gave myself to him. And here's the reality, is that we get into this place of being Christians and we feel like, you know what? Once I give my life to God, everything is going to be perfect. It's all going to make sense. It's all going to be so beautiful. And that's not the truth. It's not, it doesn't get easier. The beauty is that you are able to rely on God. You don't have to fight the fight by yourself. You don't have to take it on by yourself. So the reality was, it got harder when I gave myself to Jesus. And I slipped once after another, and I was confused. And I said, God hates me. There's no way that he can love me, and I'm out here just doing him wrong. And it's so different when you know what you're supposed to be doing and you're still not doing it. It just makes you feel worse. So the reality was, I said, God, listen, all right, this is where I've been. This is where I am. If you can forgive me for real, I promise that I will give myself to you wholeheartedly. I promise that I will serve you. I will serve your kingdom. And the reality is that 1 John 1:9 says, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive our sins. And watch this, not only does he forgive us, but he cleanses us of all unrighteousness. So first he forgives us because we're open and we're honest and we're telling him, Jesus, yo, this is what I'm going through. This is my struggle. This is my problem. So he forgives us, and then he cleanses us. He removes our filthy garments and he allows us to walk in the beauty of relationship with him. So the reality is that, you know, after that happened, it was like, you know what? Wow, I don't have to be stuck in my nonsense. There really is freedom out there. There really is liberation. There really is a releasing that happens when I focus on Jesus and when I commit myself to him and when I do everything that I know I'm supposed to do. So turning over and starting to do Christian music, it was like, all right, you know, let's do this thing for real. And that's exactly what this song hits on, is that I was in a place of doing all of these things wrong. I mean, I go through a list of all of the things. I was trying to people please, trying to do drugs, trying to, you know, gang bang and be hood and be hard. And I know that's not me. I'm not that guy, but I tried to be. And the reality is I said, Lord, can you forgive me for real? First, I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive my wrongs. I have to forgive my past. I have to forgive my nonsense. But Lord, if you can do this for real, I promise you that it will be worth it. And that's what happened. And the second verse talks about everything that happened once I was able to be forgiven. So I hope that you all enjoy this record. If you want to tune into it for yourself, you can follow me on Instagram at REVRING TV. That's RevRing TV, or type in my name, KyleRinger, and it's all there. So go ahead and enjoy the song, and I hope it blesses you.
Amen.
I don't know, man. I feel like the first step to progression is this one, you know? We got another one. Thinking back on all the time I spent trying to live a life above the cement. Trying to please a time that didn't give a cent. Hey, I refuse to be confused or content. Just a youngin' tryna help out with the rent. I do whatever to collect the presidents. Sell her bag if she pregnant and she won't. Cause if she want it, then I can't prevent. Yeah. Unless she gon' have another accident, then I secure it out their mama in the city. Yeah. I'm feeling sorry that it had to come to this. Yeah. I gotta go down to the altar and repent. I'm yelling, Lord, please forgive me for my sins. Told me, son, I got you and don't you forget. For every Jesus, there's a Judas in the mix. But I can keep you out the kitchen if you wish. I wish my life was so much better than it is. I'm tired of waking up from dreams of how I live. I heard the preacher say that Jesus is the fix. Well, if it's true, then tell me, can you answer this? Can you forgive me for real? Do you forgive me for real? I know I gotta forget my wrongs. I know I gotta forget my past. I know I gotta forget myself. I know I gotta forget my past. But can you forgive me for real? Can you forgive me for real? I know I gotta forget my wrongs. I know I gotta forget my bads. I know I gotta forget myself. I know I gotta forget my past. But can you forgive? Screaming Jesus like Mike serving, I'm big flexing. I count my blessings in bold letters, so ain't no guessing. I keep that toolie tucked on me, the word is my protection. You scarlet letters can catch a feather, you don't impress me. I'm somewhere between knowing better and doing better. Only difference is now I know that you're here forever. How my life has been spinning, it's like you pulled the lever. All sevens is lottery when we're here together. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's a promise, no matter what, that you're sticking with it. When I spoke as a child, I understood as a child. But as a man now, I know I'm covered in forgiveness. You forgive me for real? Do you forgive me for real? I know I gotta forget my wrongs. I know I gotta forget my past. I know I gotta forget myself. I know I gotta forget my past. But can you forgive me for real? Can you forgive me?
Yes. Can you forgive me for real? I think and I know that he can. Every one of us that's on this team here of the Your Life Matters Friday Night Live team, we know that he can forgive because he's forgiven every one of us. And believe it or not, he has forgiven every one of you. And if you let him, it will be a personal reality. Jesus died on that cross for the whole world to have an opportunity to be forgiven. But we got to take it choice by choice. It's us. And I thank God. Thank you, Kyle. We thank you so much for sharing that from your heart. And again,